With what impressed you about him on special teams, and why do you think he's been obviously a pretty good player for you there?
Yeah, well, I think Wolp, first of all, just his effort, number one. I think we've talked about that. He gives great effort. He does it every single day, which is part of special teams. I think that's the key. We talk about effort all the time on teams, and then the technique that comes along with it. You go back to the last game, and he scores a touchdown. He's the first one down on kickoff, and that's just his nature, and that carries over into, I think, being a good special teams player. I think guys that play on special teams, they're hard-working, fast, or hard-working guys that go out there and they play hard consistently, and they do it in practice. And he's a guy that does it and shows up with his speed, on special teams.
Is it easier to get out of bed this time of year? I mean, is it more exciting when you know that kind of you see the goals in front of you, you kind of know what possibly lies ahead, the games are important? I mean, is this kind of the fun time of year?
Yeah, I think it's, I hope all these guys and everybody here feels the same way each week. I really do. We talked about it, the process for us, it's what we're doing every week. I know the game's coming up. I know November, coaches all talk about that. I've been down that road as well, and it's just for us and this team, it's what do we do this week and getting better. So the focus and our opportunities to go out there and play a good Colorado State team, that's really what we looked at that a while ago. We knew Colorado State was going to be a good team. We knew we were going to play there. We knew that it was going to be in a new stadium. So I think that excitement's always been there. Now we get a chance to go do it and see how well we play.
Do you think these guys kind of remember the last couple of years where you lost 2 out of 3 in 15 to finish the year last year, Air Force? I mean, do you think that these last couple games kind of they see that, hey, we really do have to go one game at a time here? I mean, it looked nice, but we have a lot of work still to do.
Yeah, does that matter last year? I mean, it's really about this year. That's really the focus. It's your opinion, not mine.
When reading about, and I was reading an NFL story today talking about Tom Coughlin over there is in Jacksonville now, and they're playing better, and it's the Belichick system and new coach of the Rams. And they talked a lot about what you've mentioned, the process and sort of that stuff that seems like minutia, but how important is that to you guys and the success as things that I think a lot of people might take for granted? That's maybe boring to most, but
isn't that really? I guess the one thing we all have, that mundane, boring things that we have to do, right? In whatever job, it doesn't matter. Football's no different. It's those that can do it better and more consistently are the ones that usually have more success. The people that let all the emotions set in, like I'm not happy, I'm bored, and all the negatives, then it usually shows up in their work. And for us, the process, it stays the same for the most part, but the challenge is completely different. I hope guys find the value in that. Every week we don't play the same team. We have a process that's very similar, but we get to have a completely different challenge. So a Thursday practice like today, we come out, we're going to do the same things. We're going to have the same amount of reps, very close. We're going to have the same type of periods, but the challenge is completely different. Nevada was different than Colorado State, and I think guys that get bored with that, especially in the game of football, and you have different teams you play every week, I think that's an immaturity. And I think if coaches are doing that, and I think that's, you don't really have that purpose, the right purpose. And so the process is important, but I think as far as, understanding what the challenge is and how you use the process to go out there and actually get it done.
I got a little bit of grief for asking you about sleeping recently, but that's become a big thing, in college football. I mean, there was a thing on Oklahoma State. I know Clemson's big on that.
Yep.
Where did that stem from with you, and why that's an important thing, and where did that start from, and why you try to trickle it down to these guys?
Well, I think it's important. I think that's the #1 energy resource is sleep. It's something that we all lack. That's one thing. I don't think we all get enough of it. I know as coaches, they spend a lot of time in here, and part of that is you're not going to really get the right amount of sleep all the time. But it's important for athletes to do it. If you study like Olympic athletes, they're on this regimen that normal people just can't do. For the most part, I mean, it's very difficult. But the sleep is a huge factor in there. The recovery. Bodybuilders, they'll usually rest after a hard lift or something. So rest is where you repair your body, and in football, especially this time of year, if you can get rest, if you can actually get 7-8 hours as an athlete, you're probably going to fare better when you show up the next day. You're not as foggy. You're going to pay more attention to what's going on. You're going to have more energy. More energy creates more enthusiasm, and then the enthusiasm elevates the practice, and you probably have a better practice. But I think it's important. I mean, that's something that I think for young people, when we try to tell our guys, is just try to show them the importance of it, and hopefully they can do it and get away from a lot of the distractions that they have, and try to get the proper rest.
What do you think about NATO and Kane?
Who's that?
Those are your running backs.
What's that?
Alexander Madison and Brian Wolpen. They go by Tornado and Hurricane.
When do they do that?
They said they started it before the season.
Oh, good. Yeah, news to me. Yeah, must be like a little secret society going on in the locker room.
They said they were more dynamic than what is it?
Thunder and Lightning.
Thunder and Lightning.
Thunder and Lightning. So is it NATO and Kane, or is it Thunder and Lightning, or what is
Tornado and Hurricane, and they shortened it to NATO and Kane. Apparently, that's what they told us.
Are these made up people, or are these real people they just copied, or did they make this up?
Natural disasters.
So
NATO and Kane.
NATO and
Yeah, I think that's an awesome duo right there. Yeah, those guys. If you're asking me about both those backs, I think they've done a good job. They've been running physical. I think since we came out of the bye week and we've ran the ball more effectively, we've done it more consistently. Both those guys have been big factors.